the more that you love yourself, the more you'll be willing to share that energy with other people. And it all starts with awareness. And when you can be aware of a lot of that past programming that keeps us living in the needing to protect, living in anger, fear, resentment, that you don't just push a button and switch all that overnight. But the key to being able to transcend it and become greater in that way of thinking in the mind is to become the awareness that observes your psyche. Because your psyche is based on everything you went through in your life leading up to now. All of the likes, all of the dislikes, what I like, what I hate, what I don't want, what I want. Think about it. Every single thing we like or don't like creates our state. It creates who we are. And we don't want to allow ourselves to be made felt like something that we did not like from the past. And it could also create assumptions that those things are going to continue to happen. But the longer that you dwell in the things that you don't like and expecting them to continue to happen, what happens is those things will happen because of the mind. And the mind sends signal to your subconscious, the subconscious mind, and it creates your reactions and actions in your day-to-day life. When you're able to bring awareness to that, know that it wasn't your fault, whatever that thing is that's stuck in there. Bring awareness to it, do the work with it, and know that there is a greater path for you in a positive mindset of feeling more love. And when you feel more love, you become more magnetic. And when you're more magnetic, you'll want to do things you're good at. And you'll start to do those things with creative, loving energy, with passion and purpose. The same way you guys see me make a daily video on here, I love to do this. My energy projects onto you guys who watch this. And same as in person with people that I have good connections with, and new people I meet who resonate with my energy, those that I don't repel away from me. Some people will be repelled of you, from you, when you step into a new creative, loving power, a person of power. When you take your power back, some people would prefer to have you be in the old self. But the way that we do the work on the channel here is not staying as the old self, to be manipulated, to be treated certain ways that makes us feel certain ways. This is taking our power back. We create our state, not them. We create our opportunities, not them. And when you start to live with this success mechanism, this success way of being, that the old psyche, when it tries to bring you to all the things that you don't like, and the fear, it wants to bring back the fear, or resenting or envying people that are in the same niche or in the same business as you, or just your friend that makes more money than you. You ever feel like someone else's success makes you feel envy? It's because we feel like we can't accomplish that. That's where that comes from. We can't accomplish that. That's not true though, but that's where the thought process comes from. What if I were to say their success means good for you? What if in the back of your head, and you don't have to tell them, you don't have to win them over, you don't have to give them praise, only if you feel it. If the loving, high vibration, high state of consciousness wants you to give praise, naturally give praise, because that's naturally who you are. When you're doing things as a means to an end, you are plotting. That is not magnetic energy. You are plotting. People can tell that you have an ulterior motive here to try to achieve something with what you're doing, and I don't like that. But if you're just doing it as your natural state, it will naturally be reflected back to you that they respect you in return, because your magnetic energy is not dependent on them. You are being loving and kind and compassionate, passionate towards what you love to do, and that projects. There's no two ways about it. When you can just be your true self, you will attract to you all the things that love the real you. But when we continue to live in letting the psyche, letting the mind create these opportunities and what's going to come next, or how is this friend or this attractive woman or man that you're interested going to react, because I didn't like what happened in the past. What ends up happening is the psyche created a story, and then that story is then reflected to you in real life from the outside. And when you start to live with love, passion for what you do, peace, and just being yourself, that something you try out in a relationship doesn't make or break the greatness that you are in this present moment as you watch this video. You are greatness. You are success. And when you start to embody those types of things, you are confidence. And you can repeat that to yourself later when the video is done. I am that. I am successful. I am attractive. And start to feel what it would be like to be that person. And when you practice this and even do some meditations with it, if you're into meditation, but your I am is part of your self-concept, like I mentioned on yesterday's video. The self-concept can be attached to ego. But when you use the ego, which is your mind and everything that was created from your past and what you assume you are, when you use your ego to assume good things, successful things, and being able to achieve great things, being able to live a great life, being able to attract great people, healthy people for you, not people to come into your life to treat you poorly, poisonous people, because there's still a fear of setting boundaries. And those people would not be allowed in your field or your energy if you had the strength. And you will get there. The more that you do this work, like I said at the beginning of the video, it all comes down to awareness. And when we live as the awareness, we are living as higher beings. And our state of consciousness is much higher than the one that's controlled by the old psyche. And you learn to neutralize those things that you didn't like or you feared and all those bad experiences from when we were small. When we were small, imagine all of your friends getting invited to a party and you were left out. How did that make you feel if you were that friend that didn't get invited to that party? Or let's say it's Valentine's Day coming up and everybody in your class was sending or making these handwritten Valentines. I know when I was in preschool, we would have these little cards. We would make up Valentines and you give them to, cute girls that you think are attractive, or just give one to everybody if you're somebody who's living in a high state as a young kid. Back then our state was just naturally to be loving before the programming came up, before we took on our parents' programming, and they taught us what was right, what was wrong, and we just assumed that was the way we had to live. And we mix that in our experiences at school and our experiences with our relationships as small kids. And we carry that into our adulthood. But going back to the story, imagine everyone was receiving a Valentine's card from your crush in the grade you're in. Everyone except you, or many men or women except you. And how did that make you feel when you were a child, right? It makes you feel inadequate, not worthy of this person that I have a huge crush on. And then that enters our psyche, that we need to work on winning the approval of the person that didn't give us approval. And the reason I can go that deep into the psychology behind that is I was that child that felt a lot of that stuff, and I carried it into my adult relationships. Until a few years ago, where I said, that's the last straw. I'm putting an end to that, and I'm done living in the negative. I'm going to start living a more positive, loving life. And where I feel love is to help other people. And to make you realize your power within is to be your true self. And that you don't need to stay attached to that past programming from when you were small. You can create new programming, good things, and be aware. And you don't completely get rid of programming. You can diminish how it has an effect on the way you currently live your life. And the more that you start to live with loving energy, the more that stuff you will let go and surrender it to something greater, and greater things will come in its place. Greater feelings, greater opportunities, just overall peace for your current life. Coming up with a schedule on what you would love to do every day that's doing things for you. And people are going to dig that. People are going to like that from you. They're going to see that you're very powerful. You're capable of creating businesses. You're capable of creating healthy relationships with attractive people. It's all because you feel love. So therefore, you will attract to your field of love those who resonate with the real you and your new loving energy. So magnetic and attracting people is not manipulative. It's not, how could I be nicer to that person to receive this in return? It's a letting go of all of it. Letting go. Surrender and become love. Don't think love. Don't think great relationships. Don't think great women in my life, great men to come and save me. Be it. And when you are in a state of being and your state of consciousness is a match with this loving energy you feel, with the line of time that you would wish to be in, the type of person that would have all those things, you start to feel like it throughout your whole day, and you don't have to think it with your mind. You don't have to think about it 24 hours a day. You can use the imagination technique in a meditation when you first wake up. Imagine it, and then your I am should start to change, because the I am is no longer not good enough. The I am is a loving being that will attract whatever I want in my life. Capable. Not needing it, but your state of consciousness naturally attracts it. So, I thank you for watching this one, and we'll see you on tomorrow's video.